Jojo's bizarre adventure begins in Victorian England, where a boy quietly sitting and reading in a corner. Look how quiet and well-behaved he is. Definitely wouldn't do anything like bullying his adopted brother. After his father passes away, Dio moves in with the Joestars. It's hate at first sight with British Goku or Jonathan. Jonathan's father George has Ned Stark levels of honor. But Dio is no Jon Snow. As these 12-year-old bodybuilders fight each other. 8 years later, Jonathan and Dio are friends. Where they once fought each other in boxing matches, they are now in team sports and are rugby rock stars. Dio must have changed for the better after Jonathan's and his father's good influence, right? Right. Dio and Jonathan visit Jonathan's father, who has mysteriously fallen sick. Jonathan reads a letter sent by Dio's father to his father, George Joestar. And guess what? Are exactly the same as when Dio's father fell sick. World's easiest mystery. Jonathan goes to Ogre Street to test the medicine Dio is giving. Robert E.O. Speedwagon is the real main character of the series. Meanwhile, Dio the dad crusher is stressing out over Jonathan closing in on him. Anyway, poison is boring, so Dio decides to off Jonathan in a flashy way that Tengen Yuzui would approve of, the stone mask. Dio tests the stone mask on some guy. The stone mask turns him into a vampire. Dio is saved by the world's most convenient sunrise. At the Joestar mansion, Dio tries to stab Jonathan but George jumps in front of him. Dio rejects his humanity and becomes a vampire. Jonathan sets the mansion on fire in an intense battle with Dio. Dio and Jonathan both survive. Baron Zeppeli teaches Jonathan Hammond breathing. Try not to laugh, Spanish speakers. Dio's evil vampire lair is at Wind Knight's lot. Tarkus and Buford, loyal knights of Mary Queen of Scots. When I was supposed to be studying for finals, I read 3 biographies about Mary Queen of Scots in my college library. Even then it was a challenge for me to be interested in Tarkus and Buford. Zeppeli sacrifices himself and Dio and Jonathan begin their final battle. Jonathan defeats Dio. Jonathan just wants to sail off into the sunset, but Dio lives and takes Jonathan's body. In case you feel bad about Jonathan, Part 2 stars a Jojo who looks just like him. Many years after the events of Phantom Blood Speedwagon is Indiana Jones. And just like in every Indiana Jones movie, he gets betrayed by his old friend for a priceless artifact which is the stone mask. More stone mask drama, yay. Strizo wants to be a pretty boy and not a silver fox. Wait, Strizo was in Part 1? Really? He's not a new character? Strizo was a vampire Dio fanboy. Joseph has 600 IQ, which means he can see the future. Strizo finds Jonathan's grandson Joseph, who lives in New York. Jonathan's grandson meets Zeppelin's grandson Caesar in Italy. It's hate at first sight with Caesar and Joseph. The Pillar Men awaken and have the funkiest disco theme music ever. Kars, Wamu, and Acidicai created the stone masks and now want the red stone of Aya. Joseph and Caesar train with Lisa. R.I.P. to Lisa's voice actress. Joseph battles Acidicai but the Pillar Man has the red stone. Jojo, Caesar, and Lisa travel to Switzerland to get it back. Wamu turns Caesar into a Caesar sandwich. Kars puts on the mask with the red stone and turns into the ultimate super being. Oh no! But even the ultimate super being is no match for Volcano and is launched into outer space. Jotaro Kujo is the first Japanese Jojo. This teenager is built like a brick house. He looks tough, but he is a big softie at heart. He is such a softie he locks himself away to stop the ghost that's inside of him from hurting anyone. Stands are now the powers used in Jojo. They're ghosts who punch. The powers used in Jojo's bizarre adventure may have changed, but Dio's hate for the Joestars remains strong as ever. After Dio spends 100 years at the bottom of the ocean, he is still just as charismatic as ever. He had a lot of time to think and the first thing he does is drop his last name and start spelling his first name in all capital letters. He starts spelling his name like a pop star but starts dressing like a clown. Transfer student Kak Yo-in is a Dio groupie. He becomes a Jojo's mom groupie. The thing about stands is you need lots and lots of willpower which Jotaro's mother Holly doesn't have, so she falls sick. Jotaro, Joseph and Joseph's friend Avdol go to Egypt to fight Dio. In Hong Kong, Avdol fights with Polnareff, a French guy with a hairstyle. Polnareff is another Dio groupie. Jotaro offers him something that's too good to resist. The chance to live out every groupie's dream and join the band. I mean the Joestar tour group. The band heads to the next stop on their tour. They reach Egypt where Dio is. Dio uses Zawarudo, which is no match for Jotaro's Star Platinum. Josuke is your average Japanese teenager. He's so average, he's slightly built less like a brick house than Jotaro. Jotaro heads to the town of Morio. Josuke is the son of Joseph and a Joestar. Jotaro insults Josuke's hair and the two face off with their stands. Josuke wins. Angelo is a Josuke fuses Angelo to a rock. Morio gets a new landmark. After school, Josuke and his best friend Koichi look for locations to throw their next Halloween party. They find the perfect old creepy house. But this is home sweet home for another student, Keicho, and he shoots Koichi with an arrow. The real genius, the real brains, and the real mastermind behind the operation is Keicho's younger brother Oyuyasu. Dio turned their father into a beast. Another stand named Red Hot Chili Pepper steals the arrow. Koichi runs over a cat and Tanami's stand crushes people under the weight of their guilt. Tanami invades Koichi's house. Koichi's egg hatches into his stand Echoes, which helps Koichi's mother and sister realize that Koichi is a reliable best boy. Koichi gets a girlfriend. Yukako is really in love with Koichi. Yukako whips her hair back and forth and kidnaps Koichi. Koichi young love, am I right? Joseph comes to town. Jotaro and Joseph were part of a boy band in part 3. They even went on a world tour. But Red Hot Chili Pepper Akira is a rock star who only listens to legends. He is jealous that they went on a world tour but he didn't. He tries to defeat the boy band through the power of rock but fails miserably. Manga artist Rohan wants his next manga to be based on a true story. Koichi's Bizarre Adventures. Shigechi is annoying but you will end up bawling in tears for him. Kira just wants to be left alone with his girlfriend. Unfortunately, his girlfriend is a hand. When Shigechi has a bag with Kira's hand, Kira unleashes his stand on Shigechi. Shigechi's stand Harvest brings one of Kira's buttons to Josuke. Yukako goes to a beauty salon and changes her features for Koichi. Jotaro joins the Koichi fan club and becomes president. He fights Kira, the president of the Koichi hate club. On this episode of Keeping Up with the Kawayiris, Shinobu is a desperate housewife. One day her boring husband Kosaku turns into Master Chef. Kosaku is Kira. Hayato decides to poke his nose into this ordinary upstanding man's business. Kira bites the dust and turns into a watermelon. In part 5 of Jojo, Koichi goes to Italy where Dio's son is. He meets Giorno Giovanna, a taxi driver who drives off with Koichi luggage. 1-star Uber rating. Giorno meets Bruno, best mom. Giorno wants to be a gang star and Bruno invites him to join his gang who just walked off an Italian fashion ramp. They have to guard the boss's daughter Trish. The boss wants them to take Trish on a sightseeing tour of Italy, so they go to Pompeii. The next stop on their tour is Florence. The gang and Trish ride a train inside a turtle while more Italian gangsters chase them. But the boss was trying to hurt Trish all along, so the gang betrays him. The gang continue the tour by going to Venice. Trish wants them to go to where her parents met. The boss sends his agent Doppio to stop them. He is a sweet and polite young man, is he? The boss's stand is King Crimson Witch. I don't know about King Crimson. What does King Crimson do again? Diavolo is trapped in a time loop. Part 6 of Jojo introduces us to Jotaro's daughter Jolene. Jolene was framed by her boyfriend of the year and is now at Dolphin Street Prison. Jotaro arrives but his memory and his stand are taken away and stored in discs. Is that Diavolo? No, it's Anna Sway. Pucci is a Dio fanboy. The Jojo universe is reset.